Anyone else want a water? I'm not going to get it. Quand ça sera moins le rush.
We're ready, Emilie.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm delighted to be with Loup Chretien this morning at the Duval Fine Art Gallery in Lake Street. It's a gallery in Houston, and currently I have my show, which is named The Order of the Simulation. And in this show, so I'm going to introduce you briefly to the show. So it's about the heterotopias, a concept developed by Michel Foucault. And it talks about the other spaces. So in a society, for example, you have the other spaces, which are like a church, a school, with their particular rules. And for this show, I developed a painting, which is named Star and Dust, and it talks about the Star City. Because for me, it was a place, and Jean-Loup is going to talk about it much better than I do, but it was a place which was kept as a secret until 1961, and it's a kind of heterotopia because it's within the society, but with particular rules, because it's where you train cosmonauts and engineers, and it's remotely placed from the other cities. And I was really interested by the concept of this place, and also how you can envision with the conquest of space the digital space, because when you go into space, nobody is with you. You are like in your own bubble. So the way we see you, it's through digital networks, and it's how we envision your reality. So, but today it's going to be more physical because I have Jean-Loup, and I really want to ask him some questions about his experience at the Star City and also in space, and maybe you can introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and your story.
Good. Good morning. Hope I keep my voice. That's pollution, early pollution in Houston, spring pollution, and okay, it seems to work. I'm Jean-Loup. French Air Force fighter pilot who became a test pilot, later cosmonaut in Star City. So that was my first experience in space after 20 years, almost 20 years as an officer of the Air Force. The agreement with the French government and the Russian government to train 2 people from France to go to space, and I had my first flight in 1982. 8 days flight on board the Salyut space station with a couple Russian cosmonauts. I had 2 years training in Star City, so a few words about Star City. I'm not sure it was secret until 1961, it's just that we didn't know that they were training future Russian cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. The center probably was known, but no one knew that there was a cosmonaut training to go to space. And Star City is like a small village, green, very pleasant at the time in the way of ecology, big lake in the middle, and very few cars. People were walking from home to work and to the restaurant where we had our meals. It was a place that I don't know now, it's probably still a place where traveling by car is not too often. And so 2 years there and 1 flight back to France, and a couple of years later we came here to Houston for a second training and a flight to the space shuttle. That was performed by the guy who was my backup on the first training, and I was his backup here. So we met here with several astronauts, and that's where I met also with my best friend, George Abbey, who became kind of a brother. And again, that was in 84, 85. At that time, no one here would believe that they also would fly in a Soyuz. Less than 10 years later, the US astronauts were here in the center when we talked about our flight and training in Star City. They were looking at us like zombies. Say, oh, yes, these guys have been there far east. And that was in 1985 and in 1994, so less than 10 years later, started the first cooperation between NASA and the Russian Space Agency and the exchange of cosmonauts and astronauts. And we started a new experiment going to Star City from here, from Houston, with US astronauts and also astronauts from other country, Western country. That was a great time of cooperation. So that was a new Star City. NASA decided to build the houses for the astronauts who spent years of training there. That was a big change. And again, less than 10 years earlier, if I had told the Russians there, you know, in 9 years, the Americans are going to build houses here, they would have looked at me, are you crazy? No, that has been a good part of the experience, sharing time now and from then, from 1993, 94, sharing time and cooperation with two countries mainly and many other countries.
So I'm really glad. I don't know, I need to ask Megan, does it, like, are we connected because there is a...
Yeah, it's
okay, yeah, I wasn't worried. So to make sure we were connected. So I'm really glad to hear your experience and how, like the proximity in fact, like it was a small village, you were like telling us that you were walking in the street, we were quite close in fact, it was a kind of symbiosis I would say, like the life at Star City. And what is your best memory there? How you can like tell us a very good memory, and also what we can implement from this space, which was quite unique in a certain way, how we can implement this space current in our everyday life and for the space conquest, like for the future space conquest. Which kind of, I would say, advice you could tell the teams which are working for space conquest to do, like in terms of a human level?
So the main comment, because you asked me what it like on the personal side, a fantastic lesson that we got there after a few days with Patrick, who was my backup, 1980. It was kind of a big family. And that small village, people were working there, but also living there. And we have to remember it's a northern country, summer is short, winter is coming fast, the snow is coming fast, so you're not going to say, okay, I drop my jacket at work, and now I go swimming, I go, no, down there you have to go from one place, spend minimum time outside, and find another place. That other place was your home, or the home of your captain, of a friend. So it was like a big family. People were all living together at work, and later in the evening, that was at the home of another guy who was 100 meters away, or very close. So people were really living there all the time, 24 hours a day. From time to time going downtown to Moscow, that was not too easy. The road could be crazy with the snow, and with traffic jam. And I remember going to Moscow, spending an evening, going for dinner, meeting some friends at the embassy, coming back to Star City, going through the gate and see the trees with the snow. It was like a dream, like how do you call that? The tale.
Yes,
Oh,
almost like a
Fairy tale.
Yeah.
Fairy tale.
Yeah, fairy tale. I was always going back and looking at those beautiful trees, the snow going down, and people walking on the snow. A fairy tale. And it was a great experience. Of course, 2 years there, training and waiting to go, and then go back home. When I was 6 months or a year or 6 months to the flight, I was still thinking, okay, time to get over and go back home. And I remember the commander of Star City at that time told me one day when I was going on vacation, happy to go on vacation after the first year, and he said, Loup, don't be too much in a hurry. Remember that I tell you now, the day you leave, you will say, okay, can I stay a little bit more? And he was right. The day leaving, in July 1982, after the flight, I told them in my last speech, I live here, I leave half of my heart here, and I will come back one day, take it.
Wow.
And that's what I did. After the training here, anticipating what would happen in 1994, that was 1985, so after the flight of Patrick, going back to France, the first thing I tried to organize new meetings to try to find a seat to go back to Star City. And in 1986, I moved back to Star City for 2 more years, training and a second flight.
So the thing I really like, it's the way you talk about the fact that you were a community like a family, which is really something we have the tendency to lose nowadays because we are on the digital scale. So we interact like we are physically speaking not too far away because we live in cities, but on the level of interaction most of the time it's digital. And that's why I wanted to, and I'm super honored to have you here, to have you tell us the experience, because we have to remember the past and maybe we have to learn from it and to tell ourselves that maybe if we want to survive on the human scale, we need never to forget that we are a big family. And we need to nurture both kind of feelings and relationship, because it's how you also develop things, and it's how you conquest the future, because also the future is really important. We need to continue to look forward, and I'm really, really happy to have you here to tell us that and to remember that. So let's try to keep us as a big family. I hope you enjoyed the talk. You can come to the gallery at any time. The show runs until April 3rd, and I'm welcome to introduce you to the paintings with a private show if you want to, because now it's a difficult time regarding the COVID. So don't hesitate to contact us. I hope you enjoyed the talk and see you very soon. Bye-bye.
J'ai fait un peu short parce que c'était